Well, yes, this, sovereignty and grace are not different, but there isn't a judgment of an accuracy of yin and yang. It comes out of an immediacy of love, you see, and there's a loving resonance between yin and yang, not a competition. The yang is not superior to the yin. There's no superiority. In fact, if you study martial arts, you know that the yin styles are considered superior to the yang styles. There's whole philosophies built around the yin martial arts or yin yoga, meaning the hatha yoga styles. But the yin and the yang have to do with the increasing of the wisdom that is accessible to the other, because the more of that intelligence is liberated in the field as a whole, the more each member of the field benefits. So there's a win-win. And once one has internally gained sovereignty, then all that wants to be expressed is the truth of the sovereignty of every being, right? So the problem with sovereignty at the political level for an ego is, if I'm sovereign, everyone else is a slave, right? You have one king and the rest are the servers or whatever, the Shudras. But no, it is a sovereignty of the radiance of the sameness of the light and the intelligence of the whole that makes us into a superorganism. And each member may have a specialized function that is different than that of anyone else, but there's no betterness or superiority. There are simply different functions that different cells of the body have, and those functions they're not decided or judged. They are simply the emergent qualities and the curvature of the space of one's existential unfoldment that will result in the activation of certain latent talents or capacities or interests or ways of relating that create a unique niche within the functioning of the superorganism that comes from the originality of one's own sovereign being, but that sovereign being is also the sovereignty of the one absolute self, not of a separate individual. And so when the illusion of separateness is removed, then the crown of sovereignty pertains to the whole. And whatever function one's individual apparent vehicle has in that, it is always a service of the whole, not a taking or a controlling or a mandating, but a cultivation of that empowerment and that joy and creativity and the power of the imagination once it's liberated from all of the preconceived constraints of one's capacity to know or to act. And once all of that has been released, then there's a natural and yet supernatural reorganization both at every fractal individual level and at the level of the community, but also of the whole that extends beyond any limits, that redreams itself in the most beautiful and joyous way. And that's what is happening now from within each fractal node of consciousness and in the field of, let's say, the planetary noetic field and the cosmic field. At all these levels, there is a convergence of the intention of the whole manifesting through each part, and manifesting in its own individual way that magically coordinates and supports and augments the service of every other part. And so it is this that is the what comes to full birth at the end of Kali Yuga and makes the omega point into the new alpha and the beginning of a heavenly world to replace a world of demonic suffering and evil and cruelty and darkness. All of it morphs into its reciprocal opposite or complementary state of light, joy, beauty, goodness, purity that resolve the equation into the absolute zero, from which all are liberated from whatever fixed condition they were identified with in the apparent world.